What is going on YouTube, guys? Welcome back. It is another video from your boy Pokestocks, and in today's video we're going to be going over the most underrated set right now in the current market. We'll be using a lot of charts, a lot of data, guys, to go ahead and explain everything. But before we go ahead and hop into this video, I do gotta mention I'm not a financial advisor, so please take that. And note, guys, that stuff does change all the time. And then go ahead and join the Discord, guys. We are growing rapidly fast. We're about to approach 400 members, and it's not 400 members, guys. I look at all of you as people, and I promise, I made this promise, bro. As soon as I started this channel, I'll always respond to every single comment. I'll always be interactive, and I'll always treat you guys like family. I'm never gonna treat you like a YouTuber, always as a real person. So if you want to be part of something like that, link in description and comment section. Now, guys, this video, in my opinion, is going to be kind of controversial right now in the market because there's gonna be a lot of disagreements, but I know there's gonna be some of you who are gonna agree with me in what I'm saying. So the most underrated set, guys, right now is hands down Journey Together. I guess there's many ways to say it. You could say underrated. You could say it's very affordable, very cheap. There are many ways to go ahead and explain this. But if we currently just, guys, take a quick glance at every single set right now in the market, celebrations from my past video. But if we look at Destiny Rivals, this set has massive amount of chase cards. We have the Team Rocket's Mewtwo at 400. We have Prismatic, $1,000. Surging Sparks even is performing a lot better right now than what we have Journey Together. Total value 600, total value 4,000, total value 2,000, total value 1,000. And this set, guys, is just so ridiculously cheap right now. Like, you can pick up the whole master set of this entire set. Like, you could pick up every single card, guys. You could literally have the entire master set, or what's a good comparison? Maybe, I don't know, a few ETBs of another set. And the main reason why I preach about Journey Together, and one of the main reasons why I'm starting to talk about it a lot more than usual, is because if you guys remember, and I want you guys to sort of hear me out and really think this through, because if we go back to 2020 and we remember the hype that came with Evolving Skies, if you guys remember that, Evolving Skies, destroyed the freaking market. It was just insanity. Evolving Skies came out, prices were ridiculously high. And then after Evolving Skies came out, we had Fusion Strike. And if you guys remember how this worked, right? Evolving Skies was very, very expensive, and Fusion Strike was very, very cheap. No one wanted it. So it was sort of a what I like to call, like, what's the right word to say this? A effect that happened, right? And same thing is going on right now, guys, in this current market. We have Prismatic Evolutions. We have a subset, McDonald's, bro, I really don't give a crap about that, but subset celebrations, this subset, and then we have Journey Together. And then when Journey Together came out, it was very, very cheap, sort of, guys, mimicking Evolving Skies and Fusion Strike. And if you've been in the market since the Pokemon hype started, you guys remember how crazy Fusion Strike just exploded now, and all of a sudden, it's one of the most expensive sets. I am sort of predicting, in my opinion right here, right, that's most importantly, that Journey Together will be that same effect. I'm not saying it's to do as well as Fusion. I'm not saying, it's Fusion Strike. I'm not going to compare it to that because it's totally different. But I'm saying it will follow that same price gimmick. That's my guess right here, and that's what I think. For example, if you click on Fusion Strike, this is my first time using this, guys, by the way, so I don't know if I could, like, zoom out and see the growth of it, which is kind of unfortunate. I honestly don't think I could, unfortunately. Sorry, guys, I'm just testing this out really quick. So if we go back to what I was saying, just a throwback, right? You guys remember how much this set exploded, and it was one of the sets of the year, in my opinion, that really replicated, the insane growth that can come with Pokemon. And Fusion Strike, if you guys remember, was $90 a box. It was very, very affordable for the chase cards. And if we look at Journey Together on TCG Player as a market right now, guys, I do want to keep in mind that we will probably never ever, and I'm saying this confidently, we're probably never going to see a $100 booster boxes ever again in the market. I just do think the new base MSRP price is probably going to be $200, which it does sort of, like, suck in, like, ways like, oh man, I missed out on $100 booster boxes. But in all realness, guys, that's just the way the market's changing, and guess what, you're gonna have to adapt to it no matter if you like it or not. So Journey Together has sort of that Fusion Strike base price. Back then the base price for a really cheap box was around 90 to 100. Journey Together has that same effect, guys. We have a booster box right now at 218, sort of the same price as Fusion Strike, just updated because, as I'm saying, the new base price is 200. So keep that in mind, right? And I think Fusion Strike has a lot of potential. I recently just bought an enhanced booster box. I went to a card show and I was looking to pick up the Top Chase card. However, I ended up passing on that because I didn't have the biggest budget, and I went ahead and bought some graded cards of what else I believed in, which is going to be the Gold Mew from Celebrations. I picked up a PSA 10 copy of the Umbreon VMAX from Trainer Gallery. So I was sort of passing on the Lily Scafari right now. But I really wanted to pick up, as much Journey Together, and it's still a set I really do believe in, and I do think this should not be a set you guys should be FOMOing about right now. I do think that JT will be very affordable for a very long time. I don't think that this set will rapidly explode. It could happen. We saw Destined Rivals have this exact same growth. I'm not saying. I mean, it might. Journey Together might explode this month. Who knows, right? Because Destined Rivals just did, so why not this set as well? But in all realness, we're still going to have a lot of reprints, a lot of restocks of this set. I just do think, guys, that when this set, officially rotates out of format, when it's a few years from where we are today and Pokemon stops printing it, we're really going to see this set really pick up in value and in hands down be one of the best sets, sort of best sets in terms of Fusion Strike growth, just randomly exploded. Now, I get this question asked all the time. Pokestocks, what investments do you make? So here's one fault I do think a lot of you guys do make in investing is that you guys are constantly pouring onto the fire. You guys are really never looking in to look at the next dry wood batch. What I mean by dry wood batch is stuff that could explode later on. And I think, Journey Together, I mean, even if you want to go as cheap as a Pokemon Center ETB, these things are sort of gaining value. The past, 3 months, they're up a little bit, but nothing crazy, right? This set hasn't had the movement, and you should not be analyzing the movement right now, guys. You guys should be patiently waiting, as always, for Pokemon. And here's the thing with Pokemon Center ETBs in general, as a lot of you know, they tend to have that exclusivity, and that's why I really don't ever regret buying products like Pokemon Center ETBs over MSRP as of right now in the market, because I could tell you guys that, this is a product you will win later on. A great example of this is, buying a UPC, buying an Ultra Premium Collection box, right? Like this Prismatic, like Celebrations and Charizard is, because those products are so exclusive. They were solely made to just be a collector's item, and that's why they keep exploding and keep doing very, very well in consecutive protective growth and value, right? You're not going to see those things just drop randomly because Pokemon usually tends to not restock those. Last time we ever got in a reprint, guys, of any UPC, besides the Prismatic one, has been quite a while. We've only seen them when they've been there, and that's about it. And that's kind of a fear right now I have with Prismatic as well. Just to be completely honest with you guys, if we look up the Prismatic Super Premium Collection box, it is really starting to pick up in value. And I know there's a lot of FOMO right now in this product in terms of should I buy it? Should I wait? Should I do that? Should I do that? So to keep you guys a little bit more updated with myself, I went ahead and picked up one of these boxes recently in my past card show. And in all honesty, this is not a product I do not regret buying. I ended up paying $180 in price for it, which is an absolute steal in terms of market price value. However, side note here, I do think that guy was a vendor because he had an Excel marketing box with him. And usually the only way you get those boxes, bro, is if you work for that company, because that's isn't that illegal to steal that stuff? I don't even know. Anyway, I think he was just trying to get them off his hands, and I gladly took them. I took one of them because the other two were actually sort of damaged and didn't have the best seal. So I picked up one of them, just got a case for it, spent $50 on the case for this, which is extremely high. But a famous quote I always like to say on this channel, guys, and I don't know if I make this up. I'm not gonna take credibility for it, because I don't know if it's out there, but you don't buy a Lamborghini without insurance. So that's why if you guys have expensive product, please protect it. Side note here, completely different from the video, but I just ordered a very, very nice case for my Evolving Skies booster box, because right now it's sort of in a flimsy case, not too protective, and I just went ahead and spent $30 on an acrylic metallic case for it, because that box right now, guys, is approaching almost $3,000, and if you don't protect it right, it just loses value tremendously. So that's why, quick shout out, guys, just please make sure to pick up cases. And I know they are very expensive, however, you can go ahead and bargain and buy some cheaper ones. I have a lot of flimsy ETB cases, and I know it's not the best thing. A lot of my Evolving Skies ETBs are in it, but it's just due to the fact that I don't have thousands of dollars to spend on cases. I'm only buying cases for certain things, like the very, very expensive ones right now in the market. And I should probably upgrade my Evolving Skies ETBs to the nice ones, but just because I don't have all the money right now, it's something a later on investment. But again, guys, you don't buy a Lamborghini without buying insurance. Just a very, very famous quote. I don't know. Does that exist? Let me know. But going back, guys, to what I was saying about Journey Together and sort of the market right now as a whole, it is hands down one of probably the worst sets in Scarlet and Violet in terms of modern affordability. You know, we see 151, we see Paldean Phase, we see Temporal Forces. I mean, if I click on Twilight Masquerade, it's worth more, guys, than freaking Journey Together. If we click on Temporal Forces, I don't even know about this set. It's worth more, oh my god, dude, than Journey Together. That's crazy, right? Total value 600 and everything else is more than that. All I'm saying, guys, is that this set is very, very underrated right now. And if I really had to say like where it will be headed in the long term, you have to remember Journey Together, guys, is the first set we ever got the trainer back, right? This was the first set that we got Luis Caferi. You know, we were bringing back trainers. Destined Rivals was the next set following Team Rocket. And listen, I'm not saying, guys, I'm not arguing. I do want to make it pretty clear. I'm not arguing that every other set is really, really bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in terms of right now. And if we currently look at the Scarlet and Violet promos as well, dude, we'll bring this up because I do get this question asked all of the time. You know, where do I think these are heading as well? I do want to make it pretty clear, guys, that the Scarlet and Violet promos are a completely different market, I think, than what we usually enter with. I know a lot of people who are chasing singles, who are chasing sealed, and then who are chasing promos. I would put promos in a third category of investing because they are, honestly, guys, a completely different market, and it's very important to remember that. And here's my take on the promo cards right now in terms of, you know, what do I think you should be picking up, etc., etc. I do think you guys should be really focusing on some certain cards. I might have to make a whole different video on that because what I just said sounded very bland. But I'm currently looking to pick up, you know, a lot of the 151 ETB promos right now, a lot of the EV Prismatic ETB promos, because I can tell you guys, and another valid point I do want to bring up is that, I keep getting this question. So I think this is hands down one of the biggest questions right now in the market, especially in August, because I know there's a lot of fears. When will the Pokemon hype end? There's been a lot of videos actually about people saying why the hype will end and why the hype will not end. As an investor, and here's my take on the market, guys, and this is just using common sense data. If you really, really think about it, do we see scalping ending next week? Do we see scalping ending 2 weeks from now? Do we see scalping ending in 1 month? If you can go ahead and answer that question, well, no, I do not see scalping ending in 1 month, then that should go ahead and guarantee your answer, yes, that we will still have the hype in 1 month. Obviously, pushing it further, that gets a little bit more uncertain because I can't say by 2027 there's still going to be scalping, right? That's too far. We have no idea what Pokemon will be doing by then. But if we at least know what's coming up, we have Mega Evolution, guys, coming up in September. And if I can ask you that question, do you think Pokemon Mega Evolution will get scalped? You're probably going to say, yeah, I think it will. So that's another big reason. And of course, guys, scalpers really, you could take them however you want, but guess what? At the end of the day, you just have to deal with them because they're in the market and they're playing the game, and you have to learn how to play the game. Think of Pokemon as a massive chess game right now, guys. You have to constantly be moving your pieces all the time in order to stay ahead and win. And trust me, it's very, very hard. It's sort of a one-person team right now of buying and selling, and it's not the easiest thing. It is hands down a very hard thing to do right now. As we go into cheaper promos right now, we're about to approach under 5. I do think we start to get to a very, very solid list right now. Team Rocket's Boba Fett, Miraidon, all of these cards, in my opinion, and Aurora. Same thing from Journey Together, a very, very affordable set right now. These all tend to be very protective, guys. You really don't have a lot to lose when you throw in $5 on a promo because you know that if the set is exclusive, like Scarlet and Violet base right now, especially how old that set is, we're most likely not going to see a massive reprint. We might see one just because they did that with Sun and Moon, if you guys remember, with ETBs more specifically. But in terms of speaking, I don't think you really got anything much to lose because long term this is going to be worth a lot more. And if we keep scrolling, we got Cridon as well at 362. Very solid purchase right here. And even if we keep going, guys, we keep scrolling down. I know this stuff tends to get a lot cheaper and not as strong. But we have an Iono's Belly Bowl, guys, for $2. I think this is from the sticker collection. And again, you all know that promos right now are massively spiking. So there's really nothing wrong with throwing in $2. Maybe picking up 5 copies, guys, for 10. That's not a bad way to go right now in the market. And even if we scroll, we go to below $1, which I honestly have no idea what to expect right now. Was under $1 right now in the market. But it looks to just be, a lot of basic cards. I mean, we have a Charmander, we have a Jolteon. And, I guess these cards do earn their 20-cent mark and their, whatever mark you want to give them. But, when you really zoom down, guys, there's still a lot of affordability plays. Now, I do want to bring this up. There's been a lot, guys, a lot of talk about this card. I honestly, to be completely honest with you guys, I have really not seen this card at all in the wild, or I've not really seen anyone talk about it. And of course, I like to be very confident in what I talk about on this channel. So I'm not going to give you guys accurate data about this card or accurate information on what I think will happen. I'm just going to be honest and say I do not know a lot of information, and I will come back to when I do. So if you guys were to ask me about this Poncho Pikachu hat or gray felt, I don't even know what it's called, bro, then I'm not going to answer it because I really don't know the answer to that. Now, I was doing some other research, and as a lot of you guys know, I always talk about UPCs. I always talk about, the best super premium collections. And some things I've always missed out is the Greninja and the Tropicos. These few products, guys, in all honesty, have been under the radar, especially in my opinion, because it's one of those few products I just never really talk about on this channel. And unfortunately, I do think it is a bit underrated. I mean, in all honesty, I have no idea what this thing even contains. So we're going to go ahead and sort of just look it up right now in the video. And of course, I'm going to get back to you guys when I have more information on it. If we look at the past year, it's currently up 50%, which is not even that bad. I think for 130, it was probably a very, very solid buy. It comes with 16 booster packs. Honestly, that's pretty good in terms of the market we're in. Greninja, I do think, guys, that the promos really do suck on this box. I do think that's why it's so cheap right now, because it really doesn't have any singles. And then we have, the Tropicos one as well, which, in my opinion, is still very, very affordable. We're seeing a lot of these prices go for, what, 120 on TCG, on eBay, and then TCG going for, like, 142. So these also might contain a lot of, good investing. And if we look at the market and just really, really zoom out, guys, here's what I could say just about sort of everything and what you guys should be paying attention to. By the way, this video is more so of like a review, and most importantly, where I think, Journey Together is at. If I had to answer a question like Pokestocks, in terms of Black Bolt, White Flare, in terms of Destiny Rivals, in terms of Journey Together, in terms of Prismatic, all of these famous sets, right? What should you do with them long term? Here's my take. This is what I do in investing, and it's a question that I think is important to answer because everyone has a different way of investing, and I don't think I've actually ever clarified how I do invest in Pokemon cards. So here's my way of investing. As I go ahead and I throw at least, a certain amount of money into my month. And of course, I do not have all of the money in the world, so I try to make sure I don't go over budget because, I do have a job. I do have to, do this, do that. And I really want to make it pretty clear, guys, and I do want to say this right now because a lot of us really do not pay attention to this, but you guys have to realize that Pokemon at the end of the day is just a hobby, so please be cautious on how much you do spend. I know making these videos, I know doing that sort of counteractive on what I say because it's investing, and I talk about all these great deals right now, and it seems very, very what's the right word? Very, very you want to do that, right? But in all honesty, guys, have a set budget. My budget right now varies, and for privacy, I'm not gonna really say it, but I can give you a general number. It's gonna be a little $1,000 a month, maybe $1,000 every 2 months if I'm lucky to do that, because times are really tough right now, and it's more so about how much I can throw in the market with still being able to do a lot of the other stuff. I am very cautious on what I do buy, and most importantly, guys, saying this now, I have gone to card shows recently, and I'm trying to limit as much money as I spend, and I'm trying to trade as much as I can. I'm trying to move a lot of my older product. In fact, here's one thing I've been doing. I've actually been trading a lot of my temporal forces and my Paradox Rift ETBs, just due to the fact, guys, that I personally do not like them. That's totally a personal preference of mine, and theoretically speaking, that's something you can agree or disagree with me on. But it's just those few products that I really do not like, and I don't think, for example, I ended up trading, guys, 2 Temporal Force ETBs, and I believe, like $20 for a Gold Mew PSA 10. Theoretically speaking, this Gold Mew PSA 10 is going to see a lot more growth than Temporal Force ETBs. And also, I was trying to get rid of my Temporal Force ETBs for the longest time, and I finally had someone who was willing to take them, so I was more than happy. So just a reminder out there, guys, please make sure you are moving product as well. There's a lot of mistakes I do make and a lot of great plays I do make as well. For example, when I invested heavily into those ETBs, I thought, oh, let's go, dude, I got a really solid play. I was going to hold them for long term, and theoretically speaking, that was a very solid thing to do. But then I wanted to get rid of them because I don't really believe in them in terms of what else, because, set quality does really matter. So I wanted to get rid of them. and ended up moving a lot. I think this month I've nearly spent only like $400 at max. If I did spend, below 500, if I remember. I traded a lot away, guys. I really did. I only picked up, I believe, like 1 copy. I believe my Charizard V. No, actually, I picked up 2 copies, 2 PSA cards, I believe, for like $35, right? PSA 10 and a PSA 9, Charizard V and Charizard V Max. So very happy with that. Cannot complain at all. So just keep that in mind, guys, when investing. Please make sure you're always moving. Please make sure you are always, trying to limit, of course, if that is in your budget. I know a lot of you do have thousands of dollars to spend on this hobby, so if you're someone who falls under that boat, then this advice might not be the best for you. But I do know around 80% of you guys can relate and do have a tight budget, so just keep that in mind. That's going to wrap it up, guys, for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.